Yeah! All right, we're live, folks. Welcome. My name is Jordan P. Anderson, and on today's episode, we're going to be talking about how to get 100,000 views on YouTube. All right, that's pretty cheesy. No, seriously, we're going to try our best to get 100,000 views on YouTube. Not on this video, but I want to show you the keys, the steps, the tools that you can use to guarantee or almost guarantee that your videos are going to get at least 100,000 views. Maybe you're new to your YouTube channel. Maybe you've just started, and I want to kind of give you some things that the pros don't talk about enough or that the pros aren't talking about at all. So we have a lovely presentation for you today. Hope everyone's having a lovely Christmas holiday, New Year's week. Tomorrow's New Year's Eve. Yeah. And so I hope you're excited. Let's get into this lesson. Be sure to check out Friday's lesson. We're going to be talking about how to conduct an annual review. And I haven't decided if I'm going to do an annual review live with you, but I will. But I want to give you guys the steps and tools on Friday to talk about how to conduct an annual review. But don't worry, it'll be at 9 p.m. on January 1st. Because I know you guys are staying up late like me to midnight, and you guys I'll let you guys I won't do it at noon. Instead it'll be at 9 p.m. Okay, I'm rambling. Let's get into this little presentation right here. So, your path to 100,000 views on YouTube. All right. Let me switch over to my presentation. Okay, so your path to 100,000 views on YouTube. So my goal for this video is for you to what am I saying? We're going to go over 3 steps to getting your views let's start over. My goal for this video that you're watching is we're going to cover 3 steps to getting your videos to go over 100,000 views, or at least a chance. When I first wrote this, I was like, maybe the goal could be like teaching you how to make a viral video, but we all roll our eyes when we say like, how do you make a viral video? It's like, you can't make a viral video. Or at least I hope you know that you can't make a viral video. But I didn't want to say that. But these are 3 steps that we're going to go over. Let's cover them. So the 3 steps that we're going to talk about are finding a community, organic search. We're going to talk about Evergreen Questions, and we're going to go a little bit beyond that. What happens after you get 100,000 views? Because is that the end? Is that the end goal? Is to get 100,000 views on YouTube? No, not necessarily. So let's kind of first get this out of the way. This I'm calling the standard recipe for a good YouTube video. Of course, and there we can make a standard recipe on top of that. Like, it's just like there are some things that just go without saying. Like, have good content, be interesting. But the standard recipe, no matter what you do, is to at least have a great title, something catchy, something that is swirling around in the minds of people, or something that is eye-catching. Have a thumbnail that is also eye-catching, that is catchy, that asks more questions than it answers. That's a good thumbnail. And same with the title. It should raise more questions in the reader or the audience's mind than it should answer. They should never walk away from a headline or reading a headline and going, "Oh, I know the answer now." They should go, "Wait, what does that mean? I need to know I need to get to the bottom of this." And then, of course, have a great first 30 seconds. That's, something impactful. So like, I don't mean have a cool graphic After Effects intro. I mean, have something that is super catchy in the first 30 seconds of the video that hooks the reader, hooks the audience, hooks the viewer, and again, answers more questions than it answers. Asks more questions, raises more questions than answers. That's what I'm trying to say. And then, of course, sharing. You can't just, YouTube helps. YouTube has a pretty good algorithm, but sharing it on other places outside of YouTube, your blog, your Twitter, your LinkedIn, everywhere else is another way to, get your video seen by other people. So that is the standard recipe. So now, switching over. Now let's go into the first lesson. The first lesson we're going to talk about is niche hunting. And what do I mean by niche hunting? or niche hunting, as some people say. That is to find your target audience. We have to at least know who we're talking to. And I'm going to play this next slide right here. Go watch this video. I made this video, I can't remember now, a couple days ago, a couple weeks ago. Find this video, branding workshop, finding your ideal client. If you have no idea who your ideal client is or who you're trying to target, then go watch this video. I do a 50-minute walkthrough where I create my own personal persona marketing user profile, where I say, who am I trying to target? Okay, give them a name, give them a picture, give them a life story, and then start to create content around targeting that one specific persona that you created. So, yeah, go watch that video. But yeah, you have to find your target audience. It's like, if you don't know your audience, or you just like, I'm just going to make cool videos, then you don't know what their problems are. And if you don't know what their problems are, then therefore you don't know what questions they have, and you don't know what answers to provide to those questions, to the problems that they're having. So you have to know them. You don't have to be them, but you have to know them intimately. You have to somehow find the answers, find the questions that people are asking in this audience, in this group. I've been targeting photographers, so I'm in the photography community. I'm reading things about what photographers are going through. I am a photographer. I know the struggle. I know what it's like to be a photographer. I know what it's like to be a content creator in general, so I know the typical questions that come into play. So therefore, I can start to picture, or at least envision, or put my feet in their shoes as to what it's like to be them, and what problems and questions that they are facing on a daily basis. And I'll show you why this is important. It may not make sense. Why do I need to know what their problems are? I thought that's what marketers and business people do when they try to invent something or make a new product for them. I'm just trying to make a YouTube video, Jordan. What are you talking about? Okay, YouTube video, in a sense, is a product that you're creating. So you have to think of it, not to say like you have to treat it like a business, but it's an original piece of art. It's an original piece of work that is going to capture the people's attention. The first 30 seconds, the title, the thumbnail, or all the marketing part of it. And then the core offering is the content, the meat in the middle of the video that you're actually selling people. And then beyond that, hey, watch my next video. That's more marketing. So not to say that making one YouTube video is a business, but that one YouTube video could turn your business into a business. You get what I'm saying? So we have to know who we're targeting. We have to know the target audience. We have to find the niche. The next lesson number 2, is organic search. What do I mean by that? I wanted to put SEO here, but I didn't want to get too nerdy. Like, I don't want it to get like tech nerdy search SEO, but let's keep it to kind of organic search, because I figured that's the least techie side. Paid search gets very nerdy, very quantitative, analysis, accounting, data-driven kind of stuff. Let's kind of stick with organic search for now. So, find the unanswered questions. This is the core thing. If you walk away from this whole thing saying, what lessons did I learn, Jordan? It's this answer right here. Find the unanswered questions. So what do I mean by that? These are the questions that are very hard, not to say that they're obscure, but they're just, you've done a Google search where you look up something and then there are no results for it. So if you're looking up something in your own world, usually it's for me, it's for like random things, but if you're in your own business, or now you're thinking like your target audience, what questions are out there that just seem to be unanswered, or not a lot of people are talking about it. You're kind of finding I don't want to say the blue ocean, but you're finding like, the tendency is to want to go find the most popular topic and talk about that topic. But when you're small, when you're just starting out, you're just going to be a part of the noise. You're just going to be a part of the trend. You're the same person on TikTok doing the same exact joke video to the lyrics. It's just like, you're lost. So you, as a new YouTuber, as someone who is trying to break through and get further into those, kind of get further into the depths with your niche audience, with your target audience, you need to go find those weird, obscure questions that no one seems to be answering, and then get really good at answering those questions. And once you find those questions, you could do something as simple as Google Trends, Google Search, and because the typical advice, and I gotta just say this, the typical advice, and this is what I'm talking about when I say the pros don't talk about this enough. The pros will tell you to go to Google Trends, see what's trending, and then go talk about that trending thing. That's what they do because they are rich and popular and have all the, 100,000 subscribers, 1,000,000 subscribers, so that when they talk about trending topics, they create the trend, or they make, they rank number one, number two immediately because they're a huge entity talking about a very popular subject, and it just is a hyper accelerant to get them to the top of the list. If you have no following and you talk about something popular, you just become a mimic, a mime. You become you're just a copycat to the number one person on there who has a huge audience, and you're not really standing out. So that's the side point that I'm actually trying to make. I thank you for clarifying that, Jordan. So you want to create content around those hard to find answers, and it's like, so how do okay. Create content around that and just keep creating content. And how long do you do this? You can do this for, I'm not saying, that could be your starting strategy for the first year. Like if I were to give, new YouTube channel, okay, here's what you're going to do. You're going to make 100 YouTube videos this year, and they're all going to be about very obscure questions, and you're going to try to rank number one in those obscure questions. And if you keep ranking more and more in those obscure questions, then when you get to, I'll take you to the next step. When you get to the next step of actually tackling those popular topics, then you're going to start trending number one, or trending higher than you normally would, because you have shown the algorithm, you've shown YouTube that you are a good resource, you're a valuable resource, because it's all about like building credibility. You're a valuable resource at answering obscure questions, and hey, thanks Jordan for, no one seemed to have an answer for that, and you had an answer, so I'm going to put you at the top of the list. So that, now you're going to try to answer a very popular question. Okay, yeah, I trust you. You've built a lot of credibility over here. Let's kind of push you up to the top of the list in this more popular topic because you've built that credibility. So, and let me back up here. I need to back up. So, it all started, and the genesis. I'm jumping in too fast. So the genesis of all this started from this video. So this is my 100,000. Oh, now hang on. Let's pause here for a moment. Okay. Switch it over to. Okay, there we go. Got it. I don't got it. So this was my 100,000 view video. And maybe I should tell you the story. Now that I've kind of hooked you in, let me tell you a little bit of the story. So this video right here, it was a video production company the first 100 days, and it's just a kind of business overall glossy look at how to start a video production company. This was the number one topic that this was the number one question that was not being answered in film school when I was attending film school, and so that's why I started my own business, and that's why I started seeking those answers. So I found more research that I could find, and then I decided to start making filmmaking content, start making content that was going to answer the questions that young filmmakers had, because I was a young filmmaker, and I knew those weird, obscure questions that weren't being answered, and I knew to stay away from the most popular topics because that was already being taken care of. Let me go handle some of the weird stuff. Like, no, it's not so super fun to talk about how to start a video production company, but here I am talking about it. So this kind of started. This was the kind of genesis of everything, where it's a very simple video, and at the time it felt like, oh, this is kind of just organic, like, wow. And let me even kind of go into, I'll even go to the analytics of this one, because let's take a look. I think it's going to be helpful for you guys to see what actually happens with these kind of videos. Let me make sure there's nothing. Let's go to the lifetime of this video. So it's all kind of long tail. Let's see, engagement. All right, first let's go to 2016. Hang on, folks. January 2016 to 16. There we go. When was this video uploaded? Now I gotta check. This video was uploaded March 2016. Okay. All right, and then let's do the first year. So 3/6/2017. Oh, wow. Here we go. Big chart. Nope. This is too big for you guys. Okay, so this is, yeah, let me switch over now. There we go. Something's get over here for you guys to see. I don't care what you guys see. Yeah, okay. So this video has done 114,000 views over the last, let's say, 4 years. So this I would call a long tail video. This is something that is, it's an evergreen question. We'll talk about evergreen questions here in a minute, but it's a question that is just, you know, it had a really big spike. You know, I think in one day we had 558 views, and that was like the first, that was looked like the first week that it became popular, and it just kind of consistently did, you know, 40, 50, 60 views a day, some good days, some bad days. And even in the last year, it gets about 12, you know, some days are like crazy spikes. But yeah, it's just a question it's just a view that kind of keeps going over and over, and then even the retention, I think that's pretty good. Like average watching, and some people say, like, some people look at watch time as like their most specific thing, but it's like I think there is a case for like watch time is more important than views, but that would defeat the whole purpose of this video. We're talking about views here, but a view, you know, we can get into what views are, but so that video got that video now has 114,000 views, and it was, at the time, it just seemed, I was like, how I kind of looked at it was I was trying to rank in some very obscure questions. So, and here are the kind of tools that I used to kind of get it going. So, created content on those hard to find answers, and it was just like, okay, let me answer those video production questions. Let me answer those filmmaking questions that are kind of obscure, but I know that these are obscure questions, or hey, I had actually firsthand live experience with this. I can talk about this. No one has ever talked about this before. I can make a video about this. So I'm not going to say, like, there are so many keyword search tools out there, but look up keyword search tools. Read your comments. If you are starting in YouTube and you've been doing it for about a year, you're going to start to get a more and more active community following, comment section. And if it's a really controversial topic, or you make some kind of big blunder, or you answer a really good question that people were searching for, people will thank you. People will have follow-up questions. Read those follow-up questions, read those comments, read those concerns that people have, and start to take little notes of that and add that to your kind of content bank. Like, that's a good question that somebody asked. I can make a video about that. I can, and just kind of keep, like, let the comment section kind of snowball for you in creating content. And people always say, like, go read forums, but I don't know any forums. I just know Reddit. Reddit's my only forum. So every niche that you can think of exists on Reddit. So there's a photography, there's video production, there's the business of video, there are videographers, wedding videographers, wedding photographers, content creators, YouTube. There are there is social media, marketing. There's every kind of thread that you can go to or find, and you can go to those niche, look at the top things, most answered questions, the hot topics, the controversial things. What's something that was a question 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 1 year ago, and you're going to start to look for those kind of reoccurring questions that don't seem to be answered or that are always controversial, because if they're controversial, that means you can have your take on it and you can be just as right as everybody else, because it doesn't really seem like the answer has been kind of concrete. So put your 2 cents in there, make a video about it, make content around it, and kind of continue with that snowball effect. So lesson number 3 is evergreen questions, and we've been kind of building up to this. So this is part of your build up to organic search. You find the unanswered questions, you create content around that, you're starting to kind of build your arsenal, and as you get further and further, and you've been doing this for about a year, you start to answer those unanswered questions, those weird, hard, obscure questions. Now you're going to start to look for the evergreen questions. What are the questions that people always seem to ask in this topic? These are the top trending, not trending in the sense of this is new and hot, but what are the trending or always the top 10 questions that people in this niche, people in your target audience seem to constantly have? That is what you want to go after. You want to, here's what I say. Like when I said earlier, it's about like, okay, don't try to go, because at this point, and you're so early, you don't have credibility. You're just a new channel. You're a random person who is just making content, so you're not really, if you try to answer those big trending topics or something that's hot and trendy, then you're just going to fall by the wayside. You're not going to be able to cut through the noise. But if you find little topics and then start to find this, and once you've done that, then this is what I say, now it's time to go for the big dogs. This is where you're going to look for those big, giant questions, those trending questions, those 2 million result questions that everyone seems to be answering, because now you've built up credibility. Now you've built up you've shown Google, you've shown YouTube that you answer questions well, and then you have a following around it, and now you can start to answer those big questions that everyone seems to have an answer for. And you start to look at the number 1 slot. So once you find those questions, then you need to kind of study your competition. Look, this is what I did. I would go over here. Let's see if I'm still coming through. Yeah, so, how to start a video production company. When I was making that content, my video is old now, so it's like, obviously it shouldn't be the number 1 search result. So like I'm all the way down here, I think. Yeah. But I would look at these things. I would look at, okay, how do they make this video? How did they make this video? How did they make watch some of these videos? What are they doing? What are they answering? What are they not answering? How can you improve in that? And start, it's like, I don't care. Like, steal from your competition, follow what somebody else is doing, watch their videos, study their tactics, and copy it, and then say, I'm going to do this one better, or, hey, I watched his video, I didn't really think it was that well, he only did top 3 tips, I'm going to do top 10 tips about how to start your video production company. Don't feel like, oh, well, they're number 1, so I'll never be able to get there. I remember making the video and watching it and being like, wow, and I kept pushing out more content behind it. I kept pushing out more relevant content to the point where I was ranking in some of these, not obscure questions, but I call them the kind of middle questions, like not in terms of like search volume, like not low search volume, but not high search volume, that kind of mid-grade search volume. I was ranking, I'd had 2 or 3 videos in the top 4 slots. So you'd Google the question or YouTube search the question, and my 3 videos would be in the top 4 slots, and it's like, cool. Now you're cooking with gas. Now you have credibility, so that every video that you make next is going to start ranking higher and higher. So I thought, like, that's yeah. So that's here. That's my slide here. Like, look at the number 1 slot and make a plan for domination. How are you going to stand out? How are you going to do them one better? Back in 2016, it used to be about like what tags could you use, or like you're ranking high in these tags. Tags at this point now are just used for misspelled words, or like sometimes misspelled words, or instead of production, it's producatons, or it's like if you misspell productions or video production, like that's why you would use a tag. Otherwise, tags aren't really that relevant right now. It's still about, like, the algorithm of YouTube and Google, I guess in general, has gotten pretty sophisticated and pretty smart, where it can recognize good content, a good thumbnail, a good title, and good content in the first 30 seconds that get people interested, that keep them watching, and then they'll feed that out to a couple of your subscribers. If a lot of your subscribers like it, they'll feed it out to more and more, and then more people who are just searching for that answer will start to see your video. So that's kind of the path to 100,000 views. So let's say you've done all that. Let's say you've done this perfectly, and now your video has 100,000 views. What do you do next? The next step to do is to capitalize on it. And it's because you can look at it like an opportunity. You can look at it like, is this the start of a business? Is this the start of something that, it seems to be a question like, okay, this is content that people like. Should I still do this? Like, should I keep doing this? And I say yes. Like, once you've struck gold, keep digging. Like, and you see this you see this a ton on TikTok, and it's kind of weird. And I brought this up at a dinner party, and it was not the right. I'll be kind of crude in this. It was like I brought this up at a dinner party, and it was talking about TikTok, and it was talking about like the girls twerking on there, and like just go with me. I'm not gonna lose you yet, but it was like girls twerking, and they had like a 1.5 million likes on the video. So I'm like, okay, don't stop. I look at their profile, and that video is like the second video or like the fifth video in their feed. And that video had 1 million views. But then you look before that, and it's just a regular girl. She's just doing whatever, and she's getting like 5,000 views, 2,000 views. So she wasn't really doing anything, but she did the twerking video, and that got 1 million views. And then you see all 5 videos, and just stay with me, and just like, it was the twerking video, and then the next 5 videos, you can clearly saw that she saw this, and you struck gold and kept digging, so the rest of the videos just became twerk videos. So she, like, it capitalized, and like, I'm not saying make twerk videos, do whatever you want on TikTok, but I'm saying it's like when you see something trending, when you see something that's working, especially on YouTube or in the content world, it always helps to just kind of keep digging at that, like keep going, see how far you can push it. Can you revamp it? Can you remix it? Can you make a reaction video to your original video that blew up? And just kind of like how much can you squeeze this? Okay, sorry, not with the how much can you wring the sponge out? How much before it dries out? So it's thinking like that. It's capitalizing on everything. But from there, and this is what I did with how to start a video production company, is to start to create an offering, start to create, this is, because it's telling you a lot. It's saying like, okay, this is a popular question. This is something that people are always searching for. It's an evergreen question, and I never really explained what an evergreen question is. Evergreen questions are just questions that are going to be are the top 10 questions that are always answered in your field, in your niche audience, in your target audience. With photographers, with young photographers, with filmmakers, young filmmakers out of college, they always have there's always a top 50 list of questions that they always have, or 80% of them are always going to have. So you can, focus on those questions after you've done all the work, focus on those questions, and that's what I mean by evergreen. And, there's always going to be a new crop of filmmakers coming in, always going to be a new crop of photographers coming in, so they're always going to have that same question, and it's going to be, that's where you can become a resource to them, because you're always answering that same question over and over at scale. So you create an offering. So that's what I did. I said, okay, this video, I want to make an online course. This video seems to be the most popular. Let me create something around this. And I was able to, I was able to create an entire online course. I expanded it. Instead of just it being the 1 10-minute video on YouTube, I made it a whole 2-hour series on Thinkific, the online course platform that I use. And I was able to offer something more so that people watched the video, they got hooked, they joined my email list, I sent them an invitation to the online course, they took the online course, and just kind of, I built a funnel around it. I built something that was something larger than just them casually watching my #1 YouTube video. They were able to kind of go through this entire path. So that's kind of, I'm not saying to go in with the intent or go within the, go in with the pre-thought or the pre-notion to like, oh, I'm going to make this video, and if it blows up, then I'm going to create a business around it. But I guess I'm not also saying like don't be reactive to it. It's like you need to think about it in a sense like if you strike gold, if you see that the video is working, of course, make more content around that idea, make more content around that subject, and I have. Like here, I pulled the thumbnails of all the videos I made around that. Like it was this video, and I saw that it was working, so then I made a how do you make a production company? Why do you make a production company? And then I made content like, okay, here is, it was content around promoting the course. It was content, and then the content itself from the online courses. So it's just like all that stuff, just like capitalize on that, and rinse and repeat. And that's how you do it. It's just like you find those questions, find hard to answer questions. And then once you've built credibility, now you can move on to answering the big questions. Once you answer the big question, and it's like, I keep saying answer the questions. That's what content is nowadays. It's that's the only way I know how to do it. There are comedy and entertainment, and I don't think that that's who I'm talking to right now. I don't think I'm like talking to the next comedian improv star who's going to make a great comedy sketch or a comedy podcast. I think I'm talking to more like filmmakers or content creators who are looking to either teach other content creators or learn new skills or somehow apply new skills to their business or learn business skills that they're trying to apply to their content creation. And I think that a lot of that has to do with just answering questions. Like people want to know how to improve their business. People want to know how to improve their content creation game. And there are always questions around that. And there are a million questions that you can answer. And that is, it's like, it feels like I'm saying like, just answer questions. At the core of it, that's what it is. So it's finding the right question to answer and then answering it really well so that a lot of people like it. And then that's how you get your 100,000 views. It seems very simple and seems like very boiled down, but that's kind of the recipe to getting 100,000 views. So let's switch things up a bit, and let me tell you about this little thing right here. So we're going to talk about the perfect wedding package. If you are a wedding photographer and you're watching this, if you're even a wedding videographer, I realize could benefit from this. I am on a mission for 2020 to help photographers double the revenue. That's my mission. I'm on a mission to help photographers double the revenue in 2021. Because if you have, I want more cash in your pocket. I want you guys to be able to have some breathing room, be able to save up a little bit, be able to reinvest in the business, buy that new camera, buy all that extra sexy gear that you're trying to buy to make your life that much better as a photographer. And it starts with raising your prices. It's kind of weird. Like we don't want to talk about that. That's where people like their shoulders tense up a little bit. Like we all want to make money. We all want to double our revenue in 2021. But it starts with this. It starts with the perfect wedding package. That's how. And inside the perfect wedding package, of course, I'm going to show you the template. It's the pricing template that I use for my clients, that I use for my proposals that I send out. With the template, I also include video lessons. And in video lessons where we're talking just like this, back and forth, where not back and forth, it's a one-way street. You're watching a video. And I talk about how, walk you through the traps to look out for. I walk you through the conversations to have, how to set up the right conversation with your clients so that when you are in those tense spots, when you are in those uncomfortable situations where you say like, your client is pushing back a little bit, or they're not exactly sold on the idea that your package that you're trying to sell is worth $5,000 or is worth $10,000. Some of you have never even charged that price before, or are you even comfortable saying those large numbers? I talk about that all in the video lessons, and of course walk through and do like a little mock build and say like, here's how I'd build a pricing sheet. This is option 1, this is option 2, this is option 3. And, here's how I would package it. Here's the emails I would send out. Here's what the conversation I would have with my clients. And it's like all of this, and we just have to think all of this is about increasing your revenue, doubling your revenue so that we can, I want you guys to be more profitable this year. I want you guys to have the most profitable 2021 that you can possibly ever have. That's my goal for this. And on top of that, I decided to add a few bonuses. So with the template, with the video lessons, you also get me on a 30-minute video call, 30-minute phone call, where you and I do a one-on-one pricing consultation. Where I say, show me your prices, show me your price sheet, show me what you've been working on. Let's kind of go through this, and if you have any questions, let's get them all answered in that session. And I'm here to give you tips. I'm here. That's what I'm like. This is what I'm trying to articulate. I'm here to support you in your journey to raising your prices and doubling your revenue. That's what I'm here to support you guys with. So go over to theperfectweddingpackage.com. So that pricing consultation, I would normally charge $2,000 for that 30-minute session, because I think it's worth it. Because if you're able to raise your rates and double your revenue, if you're able to go from $60,000 a year to $120,000 a year, I think that little $2,000 price tag is worth it. But if you buy the Perfect Wedding Package, that's for free included. That's a bonus. The second bonus is a photographer's wedding. It's always a slip up for me. The photographer's website audit. I want to say photographer's wedding audit. It's not a wedding audit. It's a website audit where I go to your website. I'll do a little video recording like this, and I'll scroll through everything and say, the navigation was kind of hard to understand here. The font is a little bit small here. I kind of got lost here. Maybe this copy needs to be tightened up a little bit. I do like the form that you kind of built here. The photo of you looks great. I kind of give you, because we all want some outside perspective. That's what we want. We want a little bit of, when you're running your business, especially content creators, it's usually just an army of one. And you can't read the label when you're inside the jar. That's my favorite saying. You cannot read the label when you're inside the jar. So you need some outside perspective. Again, for that whole session right there, that little website audit, I normally charge $2,000 for it. It's free. It's included. And then, of course, the third and final bonus that I want to include is direct communication with me on Discord. Months from now, we're going to walk away from this. Most online courses, some people just do like half. They get halfway through and they kind of fizzle out. Months from now, I want to still give you access to me, because you're going to have questions. You're going to build your template. It's going to look all snazzy. It's going to look real nice, and you're going to put it in front of clients, and it's going to fail. And you're going to be like, but Jordan said it was going to work. Jordan said that. It's like, okay, hey, it happens. It's nothing to worry about. You message me on Discord and you say, Jordan, this didn't work. Or like, Jordan, I was nervous. I think I slipped up. I think I messed up. Can you look at my price sheet? Can you look at, this is what I'm presenting to clients. Is there anything wrong with this? Is there anything? And we go through it. And again, you got me on Discord, so we have a little private chat. We can do it in a public chat for everyone to kind of support each other. But that's usually $150 a year bonus membership. That is for free. So all of that, if you combine all that, the video lessons, the template, the website audit, the consultation, the Discord access, all of that combined is a $4,900. I said $5,000 the other day. It's a $4,900 value, all for the price of $97. All of that. I feel like I'm giving it away, but I'm kicking myself for giving it away, and you're like, in your head, you're like, yeah, what's the catch, Jordan? There's got to be a catch. My catch, the only catch, or the only sales tactic I have, or the grand scheme, or the secret plan I have, is for you to double your revenue for 2021. That's my goal. And my pitch, my sales pitch, is that you can do it with the Perfect Wedding Package. And I always have to include this. I have to tell you about this. And hang on. With all this, you get it for $97. At any time, I have a no questions asked refund policy. If you didn't like any aspect of it, and at the end of it, you can use all of it and feel like you didn't get enough or wasn't entirely satisfied, you hit me up and say, Jordan, not entirely satisfied with this, I want a refund. And I say, cool. Refund on the spot, no questions asked. You keep the template, hand it off to a friend who might find it useful. That's because refund policies can get stupid. Like, oh, it's 60 days. Oh, it's 30 after 30 days. No. Refund on the spot, no questions asked. So there's no risk to you. The risk of all of this should be on me. So if you go and do the Perfect Wedding Package and you don't like it, that's my fault. And the risk should fall on me. I'd happily give you a refund. So head over to the Perfect Wedding Package, check it out. Read a little bit about it. You can read about my story. You can watch my cool trailer that I have on there, and then go through the process. It should be, it'll be basically, the website is like, it takes you watch the video, you scroll down a little bit, you click add to cart, and you'll add the $97 Perfect Wedding Package. We have a little bonus offer in there that you can check out, and it goes through the checkout process. It's all through Stripe, all secured through Stripe.com. The website is built on Webflow, so everything is super slick, super fast, super secure. All your payment information is safely kept. I don't even see it. It's all on Stripe. So, yeah. So thanks for watching, guys. And, yeah, let's kind of wrap it up here. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope this gave you a little bit of insight on how to get 100,000 views on your YouTube video. It's not always guaranteed, but I think after watching this video and after kind of going through all the steps, you can get as close as you possibly can to getting 100,000 views on your YouTube video. And it starts, I feel like we need a recap. Let's do a little bit of recap. So at the beginning. So to recap. We're going to find our community. We're going to find our target audience. We're going to find our niche audience. That's who we're looking for. Because if we don't know what their problems are and what the questions that they have, then how can we even expect to answer those questions? And once we find the questions, then we can create content from that. And that's where the organic search comes from. You want to show up organically in the searches for questions that are not typically answered, or hard to answer questions, or very obscure questions that people in your target audience are dying to know the answer, but it's just kind of, they've always found a dead end. You are now going to be the dead end. In other words, you're going to be the solution. Instead of them going down the dead end, you're going to be the solution. It's the fork in the road. So, and then finally, once you've kind of built credibility and you've been answering a lot of obscure questions, then you're going to start targeting the big dogs. You're going to go after those evergreen questions, those top 10, top 100 questions that everyone in your target audience always has, and even the big celebrities in your space are starting to answer and have trended. It's almost like in the MySpace, in the video space, it's always like, what are the top 10 cameras, or what are the best cameras of the year? Those kind of like trendy topics. You can start to answer those questions. And once you've done that, and once you start to see some traction on your video, then start to build a business plan about that. But it should just be about, at its core, it's about answering questions. It's about finding those obscure questions that people have answered questions to and giving them a great answer. So thank you guys for watching. My name is Jordan Anderson, and I will see you on the next one. And we're out.